In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Rectangle tool in Adobe Illustrator to draw a rectangle and a square, and then change the fill color and the color of the stroke. This is what your finished project might look similar to. I'm going to close this one, and next I'm going to open a new file. So I will go to File, New, and for some reason this new document window looks different on some computers. So your computer, it might look exactly like this, or it might look a little bit different, but they are all similar. They all have a place where you can title the document. So I'm going to call this Rectangle, and I'm going to put my name on it so that I don't get it confused with everybody else's Rectangle project. Then there's a spot where you can put in the size and you can change the orientation. I like to choose the size by clicking on one of these tabs here. Normally I use either web or print. In this case, I'm going to click web and choose minimum, which puts the width to 1024 and 768. Then click the create button. There's my nice blank canvas. So we're going to draw rectangles with the Rectangle tool. So right over here in the tool panel, the let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth one down is the Rectangle tool. However, sometimes depending on who had the computer before you, it might not actually have the Rectangle tool showing. It could be the Ellipse tool, for example. So until you get used to the format, it might be a little tricky to actually find the tool. So if it is, for example, an ellipse instead of a rectangle, what you do is click and hold down on the button so that this side menu pops out, and then you can choose the one that you want. And we want the top one, rectangle. Now if we look at the colors, I can see that I have a black stroke, and a stroke is an outline. And I will have a white fill, and the fill is what fills in the shape with color. So I will simply click and drag a nice rectangle on here, and it's filled with white with a black outline. But that's kind of boring, so I want to change the color. There are lots and lots of different ways to change the color, and I'm just going to show you a couple of them. One way is to just open up the fill menu right here at the top. Just click on that little down arrow and you can choose a color from there. Then I will click on the stroke menu and I'll choose something really contrasting. How about this bright green color? But because my stroke size is only 1 point, you can barely see that thin little green line around there. So what I want to do is open this and choose something really wide, like maybe 8. And now you can really see that stroke. Okay, what happens if a common mistake that a lot of people make when they first start using this tool is they want to click off of the object to deselect it, but watch what happens when I click off of it. So Illustrator, because I still have the Rectangle tool selected, is assuming that I want to draw another rectangle. So I'm going to cancel this because that's not what I want. Then I'm going to switch to the selection tool, which is this hollow arrow, or sometimes I call it the black arrow. Now I can just click on this white area and my object will be deselected. The other thing that I can do with the selection tool is click the object and pull on these handles to change the size of the object. And also, if I hover the cursor around the corner, it will turn into a bendy arrow, and then I can click and drag to rotate an object. And I'm going to use Control on a PC. Control Z is undo, and on a Mac it's Command Z to undo that. Now I'm going to make a square. So I will choose the Rectangle tool, and this time while I'm drawing I'm going to hold down the Shift key, and what that does is it forces the shape to make a square instead of a rectangle. So it forces it to be proportionate. So there's my square. And you'll notice that it has the same color attributes as this object. And that's because that's the colors that I have chosen over here. This time I'm going to show you a different way to change the colors of this square. I'm going to use the Swatches panel. The Swatches is a default panel, and it's this little group of squares over here. However, if your Swatches panel is closed, you can go to Window and look on the list in the S section and find Swatches, and this panel will pop open. Now, there are kind of a limited color choice to choose from, and I want to add some more interesting colors. So what I'm going to do is click on this side menu right here and go down to Open Swatch Library, Color Books, and there's lots and lots of choices. And the one that I'm going to choose today is called Pantone Solid Coated. Now I have this giant menu of color choices, and you can expand this menu by clicking on the bottom and just dragging it down, and then you can use the sliders on the side to look at your choices. So while I have this selected, I am going to change the color of the stroke, and the way that I know that is because the stroke is the box that is on top. So that means when I click on a color chip, it will change the stroke of the object. So let me go over here and I'll choose this nice purple color. Now, in order to change the fill color, the orange one, I have to click to bring this box forward to make it active, and then I can choose a color for that. I'll choose this nice blue color. So to deselect this, I can use the selection tool and click off of it. Or the other thing that I can do is use the keyboard shortcuts. And on a PC, it's Control-Shift-A, but on a Mac, it's Command-Shift-A. That's it for this video. Make sure that you save this and turn it in the way that your teacher wants you to turn that in. That's it for now.